Let us start the session by chanting Namo Tassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. All right, page number 241. Characteristics of material phenomena. Do we have any questions of what we have covered earlier in this Rupa chapter? Okay, right. So page number 241. Lakkhana Rupa, characteristics of material phenomena. This category includes 4 types of material phenomena. Of these, production, upachaya, and continuity, santiti, are both terms for the genesis, arising, or birth, jati, of matter. Right? Upachaya and santiti are both terms for the genesis, arising, or birth of matter. They differ in that production. Is the first arising of a material process. The initial launching or setting up of the process. While continuity is the repeated genesis of material phenomena in the same material process. For example, the arising of the body, sex, and heart groups at conception is production. Right? While continuity is a repeated genesis of material phenomena in the same material process, for example, the arising of the body, sex, and heart groups at conception is production, while the subsequent arising of those same material groups throughout life is continuity. Right? Production of matter has the characteristic of setting up. Its function is to make material instances emerge for the first time. It is manifested as launching or as the completed state. Its proximate cause is the matter produced. Again, production of matter has the characteristic of setting up. Its function is to make material instances emerge for the first time. It is manifested as the launching or as the completed state. Its proximate cause is the matter produced. Right? Let's read the whole part and then come back to it. Continuity of matter has the characteristic of occurrence. Its function is to anchor. It is manifested as non-interruption. Its proximate cause is the matter to be anchored. Right? Decay, jarata, has the characteristic of the maturing or aging of material phenomena. Its function is to lead them on towards their termination. It is manifested as loss of newness without loss of being. Right? Its proximate cause is matter that is decay, impermanence, anicca, has a characteristic of complete breaking up of material phenomena. Its function is to make them subside. It is manifested as destruction and falling away. Its proximate cause is matter that is completely breaking up. Right? Now, coming back to the production of matter. Has a characteristic of setting up. Its function is to make material instances emerge for the first time. It is manifested as launching or as a completed state. Its proximal cause is the matter produced. Now, when it comes to matter, the distinctions that have been made are for the reasons of foundation, right? On what foundation does this matter arise? When we take the production stage, right, it occurs through different foundations in comparison to the continuity of matter. Example, Kammaja Rupa and the continuity of Rupa. Right? We know through the study that we have been doing, we know that Kammaja Rupa arises at birth, right? Owing to the Kammas, or rather the Patisandhi, powered by the Patisandhi process, the rebirth process, we have the Kammaja Rupa arising. That arising of Kammaja Rupa becomes so, or it arises so, owing to different foundations when compared to the continuity of matter that we might be undergoing right now. Right? In the discussion of the continuity of matter, we have the natures which come into play. The natures being Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayu. The nature of Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayu, specifically if we talk about Tejo, is to ensure the continuity of the life process, which is a function done by specifically the Tejo element. That foundation that we would then speak about there is different to the foundations that we speak about when it comes to Kammaja Rupa. Isn't it? How is it different? When a Rupa arises, a Rupa is affected by many causes brought about by the nature, by the environment, by the mind, by the nutrition, right? That nutrition that is given, the kamma, the chitta, right, and the temperature, the utu, these work in a way so tightly connected to the natures of Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayu, that with the effect, this creates another effect within the Rupa. Right? Now, let's take the example of bloating. Right? Let's take the example of bloating or even inflammation. Right? Due to whatever reasons, let's take inflammation. The skin, the hand, whatever, the Rupa, right, becomes inflamed. Right? Now, because it is inflamed, owing to those causes, the inflammation continues. right? The inflammation continues for whatever time up until the inflammation is no more. Now, taking that process, a cause, now it did not happen, the inflammation didn't come about from the thin air. It came about because of the nature of Rupa. Rupatiti Rupa. Because it is disturbed, changed by different other causes, that Rupa now changed. But after the process of its time span, it also made the new Rupas act in a certain way. Or else it will get inflamed. And then when the Rupas die away, because Rupas, like the Chitta process, right? The Rupas too have a lifespan, right? Then it would die away. That cause affects, right? That condition affects the other Rupas that arise. And because it affects the other Rupas that arise, there is that sense of continuity. In the first instance of Kammaja Rupa, the Kammaja Rupa arises wholly because of Kamma. So now a Kamma creates the environment required for the fertilization process to happen. One of those elements being, or imperative elements being, I shouldn't use the word element here, imperative support being the process which happens between the egg and the sperm, right? When that potential, now in the linking of the egg and the sperm, the potential is created, regardless of whether the person, the fertilization process continues, whether the woman or the person becomes pregnant, regardless, the potential is present. When the potential is present, the Tejo can now be influenced by the respective Kamma, allowing now for the fertilization process to take place. Right? Allowing now for the fertilization process to take place. Is that clear? How then the starting of a Rupa, the foundations of such an occurrence is different from the continuity of a Rupa. I feel like it's blank. Is it blank? Is there anything that is not clear?
It's clear.
Damsiri?
If I explain this this way, now when you have pratisandhi chitta, and immediately you get three chittas, which is kaya dasata, bhava dasata, and vastu dasata.
Yeah.
Those are actually, these three rupas are generated due to kamma, kammaja rupa, right? Then you get further development of rupa, which is aharaja rupa, urtuja rupa, and chittaja rupa. That follows those three are continuation. And this is actually in the phase of bhavanga chitta, it's occurring. So the continuation of matter is actually aharaja, rtuja, chitta rupa.
Yeah.
And so on, it goes to various other rupas, like development of eye, ear, and nose, and all sort of things. These are the actually continue it. It's actually from the pravritti karma, right?
Yeah.
And the previous three immediately together with the pratisandhi is the karmaja, which is directly from the karmaja, and it's due to the pratisandhi chitta. Sorry, pratisandhi consciousness, and that's actually mainly due to karmaja rupa. So it's also interpreted that way, right?
Yes. Yes, it is. I mean, we can interpret it that way also when we come to the Dasaka section.
Okay, yeah. I'm I'm a little bit earlier to discuss that one, yeah. Because if you know that one, then you can clearly understand what you are talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah.
This is
Bhante, at conception, we only have the body, sex, and the heart. Just those three.
yes.
And then at continuation, we get the eyes and the senses. Is that right? Oh.
Yes, the distinctive qualities are through the continuation.
So when you say body at the beginning, so we don't have eyes then. Eyes and the ears, we don't have that.
Now, the body here refers to the not the detail, not the eyes, the ears, not all of that. It refers to the general form.
Oh, just the form.
The general form.
Yeah.
Right? The general form. Now that is where now just the form. It is as if now the eyes and all of that within the fertilization process comes later on, right? But the general form of the being is what is, it is almost as if, now we have different karmas. We are not always born human, right? We are not always born human. Now with that respective karma, we develop in a certain way, right? That general path is established at production, right? Now let's say our karmas are such that we are born without eyes. It happens, isn't it? Right? You're born without eyes. It is a sheath of skin, right? You don't have the eyes at all, right? Or rather, even the opening. Now that is done at the production state, right? Now bring in the common knowledge that we have gone through. Let's say now you have the karma to have a proper trihetuka pratisandhi. However, an ancillary karma comes into play where the development of the chakku is hindered. That is at the continuation time, not at the production time.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? Not at the production time. So some beings undergo, because of severe karma or karmic resultants, they will have at the production state anomalies of birth, right? Some others, depending on karma, they will have a fully formed production state, however, can be distorted by karma at the continuation state. Within the continuation state, the disruption of the karma affects the pathway that it was supposed to follow. Not pathway, the path it was supposed to follow. Right? That path is established at the production. Right? That path is established at production. Is that clear?
Yes, thank you, Bhante. I thought when you say body there, at the beginning, so the eyes they are not included. The eyes and things we get later at the continuation stage.
Exactly, nothing in detail, and that is also the reason that we forget our passports, according to Lady Syara, right? Because apparently that bliss in recorded history of mankind, the only person who came out of the womb laughing is a person called Lao Tzu, right? A Chinese philosopher, right? He has a very interesting story if you wish to. He is the only being that we know up to now who has come out of the womb laughing. Everyone else has cried. Everyone else has cried. So yes, apparently that sort of sense of leaving the womb, the place that the child called home, that environment, is so calm and profoundly still for the child that is a place that our mind subconsciously tries to achieve again through life. So subconsciously, that state of calmness, that state of tranquility, that state of not everyone. Usually, if it's a proper, proper sort of, no, I should say proper. If the parents are in a stable atmosphere and comfortable grounds, then this sort of birth, or during that time of birth, within the womb, not the time of birth, during the time of conception and up until birth, that time is a time that is utterly profoundly calm and tranquil for the child. So much so, also supported by the weakness of the five senses, right? Also supported by the weakness of the five senses, this tranquility is magnified. Almost as if the baby is floating on a cloud almost for that period of 9 months, right? That one apparently forgets, Lady Syara says, because of this state of mind, state of senses that the child, the baby, the embryo, or whatever one would call it, experiences, this makes one forget the passports, which other beings, such as the hellish beings, the pretas, the pisachas, the kumbhahandas, anyone with a specific, with somewhat an energy of mind, can remember. Why I say a specific energy of mind is there are certain pretas with very low energy of mind. They can't remember because they are, in a way, although they might have a mind, they're mindless in a way. Right? So the Pretavatu explains when certain pretas, they, for millennia and over millennia, they might spend walking into a wall. Right? For millennia or more, they might spend sniffing the sort of the putrid smells or whatnot. Right? Why? Because of that mindless state that they are in. What is that mindless state? Now, with the Sinhalese word itself, the preta, or Pali word preta, when we know Sinhala, we have a sense of what gives rise to a preta, which is tanha. What happens at tanha when you're having a nice dessert or when you're smelling a nice perfume or watching a beautiful film or something like that? What is that sense? You're engrossed in it, isn't it? Almost sometimes in a way that you don't realize what's going on. Right? Almost to a state where you don't know what's going on, right? And you don't even bother. It doesn't arise because of that mindless craving, that the mindless state that you go into when you're craving that or when you're enjoying that. That is the same nature which you will see mimicked in tanha-based rebirths, like the pretas. Right? Like the pretas. So apart from those, right? Almost all the other beings remember their past births. They also say when a being is reborn into planes such as the Deva planes, the Brahma planes, the immaterial planes, the pleasure that arises supported by that body and that environment, it's such a steep difference. There's such a steep difference between where you came from in the human realm and that realm, that the senses are almost inundated with that pleasure, that because of that pleasure, you forget your past birth. Actually, not forget, you don't even think of it. I think a good example which we can draw parallels with, sometimes people, their lives change dramatically, right? Maybe over a couple of years or whatnot, or maybe even overnight, life can change, right? Maybe because of financial circumstances or whatnot. So let's take a person who goes from suffering to a happier place within the human realm. We know people who sometimes forget the past, almost for a reason of that sort of inundation with that pleasure of the new life that they have. Similar to that sort of a circumstance, right? So you see that tanha is in that way mimicked, right? So coming back, continuity of matter has a characteristic of occurrence. Its function is to anchor, right? Anchor what? Anchor the Rupa with the supporting factors. It is hot. When it is hot, what does the body do? It sweats. For that change of Rupa, now you don't just sweat 1 second and finish off, no. You keep on sweating up until it's hot, right? Till it's a comfortable temperature, you will sweat, right? That, now the anchoring is done to what? To the environment, it can be the Uttu, it can be the Uttu, the Ahara, and the Chitta. The Uttu is what? It's hot, you sweat. The Ahara, let's say, you eat something spicy, right? You eat something spicy, just gross examples. Chitta, you're mad, you're angry, your face turns red. Do you understand? Right? These, now those are gross examples. Because of these, now that continuation process anchors what? Anchors towards the condition. Anchors towards the condition that is present. Right? Anchors towards the condition that is present. Now, who anchors? The anchoring is the nature of the Rupa. It is not as if one part of your body will sweat and another part of your body will not sweat, right? The anchoring is the quality of the Rupa itself, right? Quality, the way that phenomena works, right? It is manifested as non-interruption. Non-interruption is the continuity based on condition. You do not sweat, you do not then stop sweating all of a sudden and then sweat again whilst at the same temperature, right? There is a continuity of process, right? That continuity of process is, or what maintains that continuity is this manifestation of non-interruption, that quality of continuity within that Rupa. Do you understand? Right? It is always, again, Rupatiti Rupa. it is always undergoing manipulation from the conditions, right? From the conditions. Its proximate cause is matter to be anchored. Its proximate cause is matter to be anchored to. When there is a condition, that condition becomes the proximate cause of the way the Rupa is going to behave. Right? Of the way the Rupa is going to behave. This is almost as if you have some steel dust on a plate and you hold a magnet under it. Or rather, also something that they do is the vibration frequencies. With the change of the frequency, the behavior of that steel dust changes, right? Because of the magnetic pull created through the steel, through the vibration, the frequencies, right? In the same manner, the material Rupa, there is no self. It undergoes change so fast, and the nature of this Rupa is me Rupe pavatinne me hetu hinda. Not because of one. It maintains, the only way that it is able to maintain itself is when all of these conditions are present. Because of that reason, because of that nature of the Rupa changes all the time, even now. Right? All the time. Now, decay has a characteristic of maturing or aging of the material phenomena. Its function is to lead them towards their termination. It is manifested as loss of newness without loss of being. Now, loss of newness without loss of being. Right? Its proximate cause is matter that is decay. Siyalu sanskarika dharmyan anityai. All formations are impermanent. A process of that impermanence is decay. Or rather, a part of that impermanence is decay. The fact that energy within that phenomena, because energy transfers, the only way that it can now go through this transference process is to change its form, through which energy is not destroyed. No, energy is never destroyed. However, it transforms. Here, the material phenomena, as it transforms, that energy also now gives rise to a new one. Right? Also gives rise to a new one. Hence, the body maintains itself. Right? The body maintains itself. Now, as we go along in the chapter, when we go to the kalapas and the dasakas and all of these parts, we will understand, just like a atomic representation or a cellular, or rather a molecular representation, right? Each of these particles, each of these phenomena, right, which is created by or made possible by the conditions, they have different lifespans, right? The whole body does not have one specific lifespan. The material has different lifespans. So other materials condition the next material to be of a certain way as well. Right? Hence, there is again continuity. Continuity in a similar nature to what the next phenomena is like. Do you understand? Right? So it is not one time frame, many time frames are running. within this whole structure, right? Within this whole structure, is that understood? Right? Why do different time spans run if you take a book with a hard cover, if it is not in a properly maintained location, right? Some of these libraries with very sort of, old, very valuable books, they control the temperatures and all of these things, isn't it? Right? Now, even the tooth relic chamber, we know it's temperature controlled, right? It's temperature controlled in order that we can sort of keep it safe, just like a book. The paper is more likely to erode faster than the hardcover. The conditions of Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayo present within the different areas of that book is different. Because of that, different conditions, different support. Hence, the lifespan is also different. Right? Now, an example that I think about is, let's say you have a wall, right? A wall. Let's take away the, just a brick wall, right? Not properly done, just a brick wall. One side of the wall is wet because of a leak, right? It's one wall. However, the conditions on one side is different to the conditions of the other. The condition of the wet side will weaken the wall faster than the conditions of the other side. The Apo on one side of the wall being imbalanced or being what it is, we can't even say imbalanced, because Rupa, why we can't use the word imbalanced here is because the Rupa doesn't have a specific identity, right? In comparison to something we could say, but Rupa specifically doesn't have a specific identity. It is a nature which changes with the conditions. It mimics, or rather I think you get the point. Don't you get the point? You get the point. I don't need to go on. Let's go carry on. We are intelligent people here. Okay, good. Impermanence, which is also explained the same way, right? Impermanence has a characteristic of the complete breaking up of the material phenomena. Its function is to make them subside. It is manifested as destruction and falling away. Its proximate cause is matter that is completely breaking up. Impermanence is one of the natures of samsara as a whole, right? Impermanence is a disease that even the Buddha could not find a cure to, right? Impermanence is the nature of the universe, the cosmic law almost. No, we can't say cosmic law. It is the nature of existence. That nature affects each and every part of our living bodies and also everything else that we consume. Impermanence. Nothing is permanent because they arise of condition. When the condition changes, the phenomena has to change, right? It is almost as if, for example, one of the reasons for the aging process is to see, they say the production of collagen within the skin, with age, it reduces. So now, of course, people put collagen creams and all of this to maintain their youthfulness. However, now when there is not enough collagen produced, Now the decaying, the breaking up of the skin begins, the wrinkling and the drying and all of that. Right? Condition change, impermanence. Right? Impermanence. That is why the Buddha, linking it to the mind, says, if your happiness is based on something which is impermanent, then your happiness too will suffer the brunt of impermanence. Right? Moving on. 28 kinds of matter. Thus, the 11 kinds of material phenomena are treated as 28 according to their specific properties. Thus, the 11 kinds of material phenomena are treated as 28 according to their specific properties. How? Question mark. How? Essentials, sensory organs, objects, sex, heart, life, and nutriment. Thus, concrete matter is 18-fold. Thus, the 11 kind of material phenomena are treated as 28, according to their specific properties. How? Essential, sensory organs, objects, sex, heart, life, nutriment. Thus, concrete matter is 18-fold. Limitation, space, intimation, mutability, and characteristics, lahuta, mudita, kammanyata. Thus, there are 10 that are not concretely produced. In all, there are 28. In all, there are 28. Next page, 243. Classification of matter. Right? As single-fold. Now, all this matter is single-fold insofar as it is all rootless, with conditions, subject to taints, conditioned, mundane, pertaining to the sense sphere, objectless, not to be abandoned. However, when conceived as internal and external, etc., matter becomes manifold. Guide to para 6. All this matter is single-fold. All matter is rootless because it does not associate with either the wholesome, unwholesome, or indeterminate roots. Yeah. Association with roots being restricted to mental phenomena. Okay, to mental phenomena. All matter is with conditions because it arises dependent on the four causes. It is subject to taints, sasava, because it can be made an object of the four taints. It is all conditioned and mundane because there is no matter that transcends the world of the five clinging aggregates. All matter is of the sense sphere, though matter exists in the fine material sphere, plane. It pertains by its nature to the sense sphere because it is the object of sensual craving. Matter is objectless because, unlike mental phenomena, it cannot know an object. And it is not to be abandoned because it cannot be abandoned. Like the defilements by the four supramundane paths. Right? Like the defilements by the four supramundane paths. Now, let's go through that again. All matter, no. All matter is rootless because it does not associate either the wholesome, unwholesome, or indeterminate roots. association with the roots being restricted to mental phenomena. All matter is with condition because it arises dependent on the four causes. It is subject to taints because it can be made an object of the four taints. It is all conditioned and mundane because there is no matter that transcends the world of the five clinging aggregates. All matter is of the sense sphere, though matter exists in the fine material plane. It pertains by its nature to the sense sphere because it is the object of sensual craving. Right? Now we are reborn within the sense sphere, right? This karma vachara bhumi because of sensual craving. The body becomes the center point of our existence. We do not live in other people's bodies, no. We live in our own bodies. The world as we know it is what happens around us. The us word is used with regard to this body that we focus on. For a person who has not cultivated the mind to a very high state, what happens is that because of the sensual craving that arises, the linkage between the body and the mind, there will always be a connection to the sense sphere plane. So when, for example, with cancer or something that drastically affects the mind, the body, our world is seen to now completely turn, upside down almost. Because of that base of existence being within this object of sensual flex, this object of the sense sphere, which is the body. You dress the body. The house is to house the body. The vehicle is to drive the body. Everything that we do is for this center point of sensual experience, which is the body. Right? Now, para 7, as manifold. Page number 244. How? The 5 kinds of sensitive material phenomena are internal. The rest are external. The 5 kinds of sensitive material phenomena are internal. The rest are external. Remember the 5 material phenomena, sensitive material phenomena, prasada rupa, right? That is internal, the rest are external. The 5 kinds comprising the sensitive organs and the heart are material phenomena that are bases. Bases. The rest are not bases, right? The rest are not bases. Bases, now the heart is the base of the mind. The sensitive organs, the sensitivity grasps or allows for data to be gathered. No, not gathered.
Assimilated.
Generated. Generated. Data to be generated.
Is it assimilated?
Use is impinged. Impingement upon the sensory organ. But impingement describes the effect that it, the word that is to be used, impingement. What is the word? Impinged upon the sense organ. Okay. The sound, the frequencies of sound, it's there. These vibrational frequencies, according to the Abhidhamma, within the ear, the very sensitive hairs, within the inner compartments of the ear takes in the frequencies and translates this into something that we understand, like binary code for a computer. That transference, not transference, that interpreting process is done through that sensory base. Just like the seat of mind arises associating the thick blood within the compartment of the heart. Right? This data is now, the ear will not pick up sight or light because it's not sensitive to that. Not to say that it is less or more sensitive. It is specifically not sensitive to that area of data. These frequencies need to be translated into something the body composition can understand. That translation is done through that base. Hence, it is called a base. Understood? Right? Any questions? Are we okay? Okay. All right.
Can you say, Bhante, the data that is being transformed into the information about, well, say if you get a frequency of sound, that data is transformed into the data that can be accessible to the consciousness?
If we use the word accessible, right?
Yeah.
Accessible to the consciousness. Accessible to the consciousness. There is a little bit of self in the word accessible. Self in the sense Atma.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That means somebody is doing it.
I get the feel of accessible, having that sense of Atma there.
Okay.
Right? Because it is, you know, I mean, for example, you can't eat soup with a fork.
Mm-hmm.
You need a spoon.
Yep.
Right? Likewise, those frequencies that are out there, or the objects made visible because of light and the other conditions, that is not what we get. It's not like now, you know, I look at something, that thing doesn't come and hit me in the eye. That light, that sort of making it into something which is now cognizable in a way that suits that cognitive process. The cognitive element has a way that it works. Making, or rather presenting, the function of the base is to gather this info. The Panchadwara Bhajana makes the info more apparent with the mind focusing on that specific place. Not focusing, that is wrong again, because it's not like a cannon that sort of targets, it arises in that place. When the impingement is wrong, now, for example, I'm speaking to you, right? My focus is upon the screen. Someone can hit something, throw something from the other side of the hall, right? Now, however much I'm focusing on you, this impingement is rather great, like a Atimahanta Ramana, because it is also unusual. Making that data available, you can't say available as well, because then there's Atma.
Making, yeah, okay.
Because that Okay. The process, you see something scary, really scary, right? Like this woman some years ago who saw a tiger and her hair turn white on the spot, right? Something like that. These are chemical reactions that happen, right? These chemical reactions, there is no sense of Atma in any of these chemical reactions. The condition is made present. The condition, now for me to listen, there has to be a condition that is present. The availability of condition, of that specific condition, depends on the base. Depends on the base. Maybe we could put it in that way. I hope you understand what we are trying to get at. Yes, Dhamma.
Bhante, I think you can take example. We'll say when you see something, the image fall on your retina. In scientific terms, actually, what is happening is it scans the whole image and convert into a electrochemical signals and translate that information or transfer that information to the brain. So that's a good sort of a starting point to think about it. So, but when you see a picture on your retina, it scans in very fast, in nanoseconds, and scan it, and then immediately translate that into electrochemical signal through the nervous system and transfer to the brain, which is consciousness. So this is exactly what you are talking about, actually. But everything happening automatically. There's no control. It's auto-controlled. That's the way you explain it, because if nobody's doing it, it's happening naturally.
Yeah, it's
right.
The thing is, Damsiri, in that process of through the nervous system, that sort of data being taken into the brain or the rest of the nervous system, which secretes the different chemicals into the bloodstream. That process of transference, that transferring process, is not spoken of in the Triptaka. The process which is spoken of now, yes. Now your point is from the science side, you know.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that's from the science side.
Yeah.
Here now, in the process of transference, now we speak about the mind and the body.
Yes.
Right. In the process of the mind, now when the Chakku Vinyana arises. When the Chakku Vinyana arises, the Manodwara Vajana, the heart base, can take the data that has now been received and work with it. This can be an automatic process, or we can reminisce and sort of go back to something that we saw as well. Right? For example, when we think about Anuradhapura, but we are halfway around the world. Right? We can reminisce that data as well. The transference, I'm wondering, that transference process that we are speaking of definitely has to be, that is Rupa. Right? Then that Rupa part, which talks about, where the science part talks about that transference, that energy, right? The energy, now for example, within biology, we know memory is in the brain. This is what we know for now, right? It stores, and when we tamper with the brain or something happens, we can lose memory or whatnot, you know, and even behavioral characteristics. The question of, you know, what science has been trying to answer with regards to where is the mind, it is difficult to point out, or they have come to a situation where it is difficult. We do not know where the mind is specifically, because the mind seems to be in different or specific parts of the mind, or operations of the mind seems to be operational different parts of the body, like the gut, the heart, and the brain. Right? Creating the Buddha too, the seat of mind, he says, is the heart. However, processes we know of the mind occur all throughout the body. So this is something to think about, I think.
Yes. Mhm.
You know, although the base of mind is the heart, we have Chakku Vinyana arising at the eye. Sota Gana Jigva Kai Vinyana arising in their respective parts of the body. Right? So displaying a connectivity between these different areas, connected through, of course, the heart base, but everything operating through natural causes. But the mind, being the mind, is able to go beyond the body for sure. The body's, the operations of the mind takes up for it to, for example, the element of Tejo, right? Like the gravitational pull of the earth, being based upon the core temperature within the molten core of the earth, it keeps it together, isn't it? It keeps everything together without dispersing. All the planets are like that. Within the mind, the way that everything is kept together is the ego. Without dispersing. The moment, the only time that something has dispersed in that manner is through parinirvana. After the attainment, the death after the attainment of enlightenment, because that core that keeps everything together, like Tejo keeps everything together in a physical phenomena, material phenomena, now that for the mind, that molten core is no more. The driving force of ego is now no more. In a similar way, we find the mind operating all throughout the body, and the physical data that we have, which creates the nervous operation, the operations of the nervous system and the secretion of the chemicals, wholly comes down to then the Rupa. The Rupa defined by those different chemicals that are put out or secreted or created as a result of that impingement. It would be interesting. I'm going to watch a YouTube video of of the nervous system after this.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe Mala can give us a class sometime. All right. Now let's go on.
In the last chapter,
Yeah.
we came across the word taints, 4 taints.
Yes.
Are they karma, asa, bhava, asa,
We will
and
come.
wrong will and ignorance? So am I wrong?
We are going to come into that. Yeah. We are just going to come into that. All right. The 6 kinds comprising the sensitive organs and the heart are material phenomena that are bases. The rest are not bases. The 7 kinds comprising the sensitive organs, the 7 kinds comprising the 7 organs and the 2 media intimation are material phenomena that are doors. The rest are not doors. Is that understood? With the 2 intimations, these are doors of communication. Right? While the sensory organs are doors incoming. Understood? All right. The 8 kinds comprising the sensitive organs, sex states, and life are material phenomena that are faculties. The rest are not faculties. Right? The rest are not faculties. The 12 kinds comprising the 5 sensitive organs and sense organs are gross, proximate, and impinging material phenomena. Material phenomena. The rest are subtle, distant, and non-impinging, right? And non-impinging. Material phenomena born of karma are clung to. The others are not clung to, right? The others are not clung to. Now, the visible form base is visible, the rest are not visible. The eye and ear as not reaching their object. The nose, tongue, and body as reaching their object are 5 kinds of material phenomena that take object. What does that mean? Right? You know what it means. The eye and the ear do not reach the object. Right? In terms of the eye, the light allows the object to be visible. The ear, the frequency, vibrations of sound. Right? The nose, tongue, and body are reached. That is clear, isn't it? Right? Are 5 kinds of material phenomena that take objects. The others are material phenomena that do not take objects. Color, odor, taste, nutritive essence, and 4 essentials are the 8 kinds of material phenomena that are inseparable. The rest are separable. Again, color, odor, taste, nutritive essence, and the 4 essentials are the 8 kinds of material phenomena that are inseparable. The rest are separable. We will come into that later, right? What is a Pali term for this? Remember?
Suddhastaka.
Yes, this is a Shuddhasana,
Suddhastaka.
right? All right. Now, let's come back up. The 12 kinds comprising the 5 sensitivity organs and 7 sense objects are gross, proximate, and impinging material phenomena. Is that clear? They are gross, they are proximate. Proximate means that leads to the arising of something or another process afterwards. It's proximate to something, right? And impinging material phenomena. It works, that phenomena works through impingement. Is that clear? Please let me know if that is not clear, right? Now, if you come up, right? Come up to page number 236, right? In 236, now what are we talking about? We are talking about sensitive phenomena, right? And objective phenomena, right? These phenomena, what are the words which are used? The first word is gross. Compared to the other natures, these are rather more I'm using the word tangible, but I'm using the word tangible not because you can touch it, but because a process can begin based on these experiences. isn't it? Eye sensitivity, ear, nose, tongue, body is gross. There is a physical element there which even science sees, which says it is gross. It bases on impingement. Eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, visual form, sound, smell, taste, and tangibility all lay way or bring out the potential for an impinging process to take place, isn't it? Hence, it is impinging. What's the other word that is used? The other word that is used is the other word that is used is proximate. Proximate means to a process, right? When a sound arises, that sound is proximate to a process that is going to arise afterwards. It is based on that sound that that process happens. That's why it's proximate. Do you understand? Right? The rest are, now look at the rest. The rest are, apart from those two categories, look at the rest. The rest are subtle. Subtle, right? The rest are subtle, distant, and non-impinging, right? Distant and non-impinging, because this set that we have now gone through is that which takes the object. It's that which we work with every single moment of life. The others, for example, malleability, kammanyata, all of these things are subtle phenomena. These are natures. Do you understand? These are qualities. If one is to ask, okay, show me where lahuta is. How can you show what lahuta is? Of course, you have this feel of lahuta, but a lahuta is a nature of the rupa. Isn't it? Is that understood? No. No, Eli. What is not? This chapter is different. What is not? Yes, Lakshman.
How do you get these 7 sense organs, Bhante? I can understand the 5 sensitive organs.
Okay.
What are the 7 sense organs, please?
The 7 kinds comprising, the 12 kinds, right? Are you looking at the chart, Lakshman?
Yes, I'm looking at the chart, yes.
Now, if you count the 5 sensitive and the 7 sense object.
7 sense objects. Where, under which one?
Yeah, now wait, let me go up there. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 under objective phenomena, right? Tangibility is 3.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay. Right. So there's 3 there as well. Okay.
Yes. Hence 12.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Huh?
Yeah.
Now, why tangibility? Now 3 elements, earth, fire, air. Now this is referring to the feel of the nature, not the nature itself. Meaning, now if we go to earth, water, fire, air, right? Tangibility is the feel of that. Right? We can't say that that is the element. Yes, it is the manifestation of the element in a certain way, but we are not referring to the great essentials, but we are referring to what creates that feel. That is why tangibility has 3.
Right.
Understood?
Yeah.
So that 5 in sensitive phenomena and 7 of objective.
Yes, thank you, Bhante. Yes, thank you.
Yes. Now, okay. Material phenomena born of karma are clung to. The others are not clung to. What does this mean? Material phenomena born of karma are clung to. The others are not clung to. It is known as clung to because they arise dependent upon two specific factors. That is avidya and tanha. Hence it is called clung to, right? Upadinna rupa, right? Material phenomena born of karma are clung to, the others are not clung to. The visible form base is visible, the rest are not visible. Hence goes to the ear, nose, tongue, body, and all of that. Eye and ear as not reaching the object, that is clear, right? And color, odor, taste, nutritive essence, and four essentials are the 8 kinds of material phenomena, right? Now, let's go to guide para 7. It will become clear.
Bhante, when you say clung together, is it the organic matter in the body?
Yes.
Yeah.
Meaning, Kammaja Rupa arises because of the state we have made with wrong, avidya and tanha, ignorance, wrong view and craving. Because of that, the karma is created, karma to create that Kammaja Rupa. Right? We will come into it as well. There is a here clung to Upadinna Rupa. Guide to para 7. Internal, ajjatika. Here, the term internal is used in relation to matter in a technical sense application. In relation to matter in a technical sense application, sense applicable only to the 5 types of sensitive materiality which serve as the doors of material phenomena. Again, ajjatika, here the term internal is used in relation to matter in a technical sense applicable only to the 5 types of sensitive materiality which serves as doors for mental phenomena. Doors for mental phenomena. Although other types of material phenomena occur within the physical body. Only these 5 sensitive factors are referred to as internal. Do you understand? Right? Although other types of material phenomena occur within the physical body. Other types do know. There can be cancer cells. Do you know? No, you don't know up until you go get checked. You can gain weight or lose weight, right? You can gain muscle. You're not aware of these things up until you really measure or see or whatnot, right? However, that which is experienced through the five sensitive sensitive materiality, that which is experienced through those 5 are known. That is hence taken as internal. Isn't it? Is that clear?
They're called internal because they're important. Is that right, Bhante?
Is your cat is in front of the camera? What did you say again, please?
Yeah, sorry, I said they're called internal because they're important ones. Is that right?
No, they are internal because that is the word that we see. Example, we learn through the 5 sensitivity phenomena or materiality, right? That is then what makes us who we are, isn't it? Right? To a certain extent, right? That is why it's called internal. Now, something might be happening, let's say, something might be happening around the body internally, but you don't know this as it's happening, you don't know it, you don't feel it, right? Because that is so, the experience of life at that moment is not changed. However, when something is taken through the sensitive materiality, life is changed, isn't it? Hence, it is called internal, not because it's important, because that becomes the foundation of consciousness or the foundational elements of support for the consciousness to grasp different objects and work within the sensory plane. That's why it is called internal, not because it's important, right? Not because it's important, because that is what creates this being. Hence, it is called internal. I'm sorry, I can't say that is what creates a being. That is what allows the data that is taken to be taken in, to allow that data to flow. That data is assumed and presumed, known through the cognitive process. Hence, it is called internal. Understood?
Yeah, thank you, Bhante.
Yeah.
Bhante,
Yeah.
why here Hardavastu is not included, which is as the 6th one, because that is also some sort of a sensitive sensitive organ, yeah, when it comes to mano vinyana.
Yeah. It's Rupa,
Okay.
right? Rupa. Now the Manovinyana works with mind data. But
Okay.
mind data is not physical based, no?
Right.
Right? That is not physical based, right? That is why that is not taken here as a adjatik, as an internal,
Okay.
right? Now, even for the mano to work, the adjatika rupas here lay foundation for the data that is later used by the mano to understand and know.
Okay.
Right? The color red. We know red as red because we learned it through vision.
Yes.
Right? We use the word red now, if you're talking about a red kasina, we use that because we learned it through the physical base. Because of that reason, because this is Rupa, and this forms, even for the mano to work, even for the mano to communicate with itself, it uses this data.
Okay.
Right? It uses this data.
Yeah. Thank you.
That is why it is not included here. Now, do you have time? Okay. Any questions? It's 8:27. I think we should stop here for today. Because we will have to speak about what bases are, doors are, and faculties are in terms of Rupa definition. Because we have done the mental definition, but we have not done the Rupa definition, right? So we'll stop here for today, right? Any questions with regards?
There's a chart actually in the website, gives you all these definitions in color, right? So it will be very useful if everyone can get.
Abhidhamma.org, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yes, yes.
Abhidhamma.org.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So, okay. All right then. So then, good night.
Thank you and good night.
And
Thank you and good night, Bhante.
all right. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.